in a way, he was something like a hero of my youth. I grew up in a society which was really torn between radical left-wing violent movements like the Red Army faction, and some friends of mine were sympathizing with these radical armed movements. And on the other hand, in the German province like Stuttgart, it was a huge front of conservative teachers and also my parents. And Beuys somehow showed me a way out, an exit out of these political struggles into art, into a very political art. And so why Beuys? He had something which was, for me, very un-German. He had humor. So the structure of a film like Beuys, of course, it will change in a process of 18 months editing. It's a new film. It had nothing, hardly nothing to do with the script. And it's a search. I tell a story of somebody who failed, who was old and sick and couldn't realize anymore his ideas. And that was fine regarding the emotions, because people cried. But it was not okay for the idea that Beuys tells us something. He was ahead of his time, and all the crucial issues of the ecological crisis, the financial crisis, the crisis of democracy, we had to jump into another structure which tells he is present. Even if he died, he's still present with his ideas. So we couldn't let him die. And we couldn't let him get sick a little bit. Yes, also the crisis after the Green Party. But then you see he's just vanishing somehow in the basement. But he comes back planting the 7,000 oaks. And we are ending with this last scene when he says, it's a joint task. We have to do it together. So it's somehow an announcement. He really had to tell something. He had a message. And but he was, with his humor and the way how he used his art, he was not a dictator. He's always said, let's see what are the questions of the people. It doesn't mean these questions are my questions. I have to see what the people are engaged in, what the people bothers. And out of these necessities, we have to build up a joint task. And so he speaks directly into the camera. The idea was to find out an aesthetic with our means and technical possibilities today, how we could find an approach of the 70s and 80s that, okay, this was the way how the means and possibilities of somebody like Joseph BEUYS and all these accompanying artists like photographers and people who made films, with what kind of means did they work. And so it was both. It was at the same time somehow bringing together elements that normally are happening one after the other, and we bring them together in one frame. but also it was a question of finding a language for the film, which was in a way very close to Joseph BEUYS. We just look what is the better storytelling for the performance. And sometimes it's a moving image, the film, and sometimes it's a mix, and sometimes it's just because we had a very good photographer. It's a contact sheet, or then we go into the image and then we jump into the moving image. So it's a selection of what is, in the very case of a specific performance, of a specific happening, the best way to for the storytelling. That's my responsibility when you have, let's say, I don't know, some hundreds of hours of interviews and 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 photos and a lot of moving images, interviews, TV interviews, audio interviews, etc., etc., hundreds of hours. You could do many films out of this footage, and other people would make other films with all these possibilities. But I have to do my film. And I was very lucky and happy at the same time that I could do my film on him as I see him.